I'm Corey Skandarian, a practicing physiotherapist. I'm also the founder of Nobody. My goal with Nobody is to provide you a deeper insight on the human behind the flesh and bone. Nobody can condense this theory into a practical how-to guide and help you adopt a more human approach to the professional relationship you adopt with your client for better results. Therefore, I have created 6 modules, and over the coming weeks, through these videos, together we will explore the key learnings you can gain from Nobody. In Module 3 of Nobody, we will discuss breathing in depth, where correct breathing starts from, how trauma affects our breathing rhythm, how in fact it can block the nervous system into a so-called fight or flight mode, and predispose us to poor posture. You will also learn how the primary structure of respiration that we all know of, the diaphragm, can also be the cause of chronic low back pain by learning the anatomy and the mechanics of breathing, as well as how to maximize its coverage in the body for better overall posture and core strength. On that subject, let's go visit Mel from Studio 84 to talk about this specific topic of core strength. Hi guys, I'm Corey. I'm here at Studio 84 with Mel DeGabriel, personal trainer here. What sort of challenges do you see with clients every day in terms of their training performance?
I'd have to say the biggest challenge that I see is that people just forget to breathe. But yeah, like even if I've got some clients doing some basic Pilates or core work on the floor on a mat and they're laying on their back and they're kicking their legs out to try and activate the core, that they'll just hold their breath. So I'm not sure whether or not it's a protective thing or if it's just because they're so focused on what they're doing that they actually forget to breathe. But I have to constantly remind them, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
So what I'm getting from what you just said is that the people's challenges is that they don't actually breathe correctly when they're exercising.
It's interesting because once they get their breathing on track, it just helps them to feel stronger.
Movement is a way of connecting. And if you don't connect with your breath, you won't connect with movement. When people hold their breath or breathe at the wrong time, they end up also, aside from losing body position, do you find that they tend to also lose a bit of their force output?
Well, the technique that I learnt from you almost a year ago, where you were telling us to make that sound when you're breathing out and really force the air out between the teeth. Mm-hmm. I find that really helps myself and my clients activate the core, because when you're forcing that air out, it makes the diaphragm contract, and then that's what turns the sort of the power source on.
We talk about the diaphragm being part of the 5 core muscles in the body, and how utilizing that will allow us to essentially become closer on gaining most of our core strength.
I think a lot of my clients also shallow breathe. So obviously if we're shallow breathing, and I'm not an expert on the topic of breathing, but if you're shallow breathing, like a lot of people that sort of have rounded shoulders, because they're not getting that full inhalation, they're not able to open their shoulders up there.
Once we get into postures like that, we lose the intimate relationship between our trunk and our pelvis. What lives in between the two? Our diaphragm. And so if we are able to bring our trunk in relation to our pelvis when we're training, we're going to be able to physiologically maximize the function of that diaphragm and be able to get all the good bits that training provides us in strength output. Is it possible we use you as a model just to demonstrate this quick clinical tidbit for our viewers out there on how posture can affect the way we breathe? What we're going to do is I'd like you to emulate people's postures in front of a desk, or the people's postures that you see here in your gym and what I see in my practice, okay? So first and foremost, I'm going to get you to stay like that, okay? So people actually live this way, okay? And you can see how we're now losing the relationship between our ribs and our pelvis as it rolls backwards, okay? We're going to get you to hold here, and you're going to push as strong as you can, okay? Push as strong as you can. Push as strong as you can. So as you can see, the strength is not at its maximum. So this posture and training under this posture, you can understand how it can predispose you to injuries, okay? If I ask you to be more posturally aware, and how to be more posturally aware is not about bringing yourself back into a barrel, it's very gently pulling the pelvis right underneath the rib cage. So maximizing the physiological relationship between the trunk and the pelvis, so they're nicely aligned. Good cues to give is the bottom of the sternum needs to be at the center of the pelvis. The sit bones need to be underneath and in line with the earlobes, not behind, not forward. Okay? Perfect. Now, gently breathing through your nose, okay? Breathing and bringing the air right into the tummy, allowing our ribs to slowly drift away from each other, okay? Imagining that we're sending this breath all the way down to our pelvic floor as if it's eventually spreading our sit bones away from each other, okay? Can you feel that? Okay? It's kind of a lovely centering exercise, and it just brings that awareness back into your body. I'm going to get you to maintain this particular rhythm. Don't forget to park your tongue on the roof of your mouth as well, so it's out of the way. And then we're going to get you to push as hard as you can. And you can see that that's much less effort for you to meet my pressure as opposed to going back to the common posture that we see. Go for it. Okay, and push. Okay.
I immediately lose my strength.
Exactly. Now, if I get you back up for a second, okay, I just want you to just kind of lean to the side. So maybe just go like this. We see a lot of people kind of lean on their elbows on their desk, okay? Push up. You can see that affects
That's amazing.
the strength output.
Yeah,
so
wow.
what it does is that it changes the charge of your nervous system, of your nerves. The nerve signaling becomes different. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to demonstrate that to people and how posture can maximize our breathing, and as we spoke earlier on, how breathing can maximize our strength in the gym. As you can see, in Module 3 of the No Body program, we discuss breathing in depth, where correct breathing starts from, how trauma affects our breathing rhythm, how it can block the nervous system into the so-called fight or flight mode, and predispose us to poor posture. You will also learn how the primary structure for respiration, as we all know the diaphragm, can be the cause of chronic low back pain. And by learning its anatomy and mechanics of breathing, we will learn how to maximize its coverage in the body, enhance awareness for better posture, and finally achieve great movement.